just put, and I think that was probably in the etchant for about 10 to 15 minutes. And so what happens is that you can see where the permanent marker has gone, some of it's actually broken down. Yeah. So you can get this lovely, it's almost like a random effect. You don't know where it's going to happen. And it's experimenting with different types of permanent marker to see when they will actually break down. But you can also do a mix, because this was liquid, the Dove was actually done in liquid hard ground. And the centre of this was done in liquid hard ground with this as liquid hard ground and scratched into, and then the rest was crayon, wax crayon. It's not a chemical process, it's not an acid process, it's not eating away. What's happening is that you're turning some of the molecules in your metal into copper. So it's the copper sulphate is stealing bits.
Is that why the image appears in rusty,
yes,
the kind of rusty looking?
The rusty looking stuff is the copper.
And it forms into the, over the image, so you can actually see it.
And what's actually happening is that you're bringing it out as copper, but it's also leaving behind some aluminium sulphate. And aluminium sulphate is the stuff that's left at the bottom of the dish. So that's the stuff that you're actually left with that's probably the most difficult to get rid of. But we'll go into that a bit later on. Because lots of people were coming up to me and saying they couldn't get fine lines with the saline sulphate. But this just shows how you can get a fine line. This was stopped out, and then I made the marks just with a regular etching needle. This one was I made the marks with a twig with some stop-out varnish on it, and then just etched it. So they're just two different things going on. And so the etchant is going to go in, and it's going to spread all every which way. And so you might get a nice black.
So you actually
may not be like you really want it. Yeah. And then just like this. This is a sugar lift. So, well, you can actually see. You can actually see that there's pressure from file biting there where I managed to get the ink out.
Yeah. Presumably you could have given it a second coat in the areas you definitely didn't want it to bite.
Yeah.
Before a second coat of a different resist over the top.
Yes.
Before you put it in, if there are areas you definitely wanted to preserve from all chance of file biting.
That's not me.
But one could. You could. Depends on anyone who wanted to keep a white.
Yes.
You could.
Yeah. Using very, very thin sheets of aluminium. So these were old litho plates. So this circle here and this here are old litho plates that I've taken, I've etched. This is using a kilo of copper sulphate and half a kilo of salt, and then your, say, 10 litres of water, and then see how that's working. So of disposal of the mordant once it's actually used up. And I've spent a lot of time talking to a lot of chemists and getting a variety of answers from, my goodness, you don't even touch that stuff, to no problem. And the most has come out as no problem.
It says marine pollutant on there.
It is an incredible marine it is a real pollutant. But by the time you've actually, if you basically water this down, you're not going to get any more than you would, so someone's told me, from the copper pipes that run in. first of all, we'll put a. Oh, it's now jello. I'm going to put about 10 litres of water into this, so melt this down. Then we can try putting a bit of aluminium in and seeing what actually happens with that, with no salt or anything else added. So I'll just.
There's bite in pits, isn't it? It doesn't bite
Well,
evenly
this
down.
is the.
So maybe it's to
when you
do
get
with the
the-
wet and dry thing, taking some.
Well, I hadn't used wet and dry at all at that stage. I've only just started to use wet and dry. Maybe not enough. That's the other thing.
And the nice thing about this is it is solid, so it's not going to spray dust all over.